Have you ever hit a massive goal? You know, the one you've been grinding for years, only to get to the finish line and just feel kind of meh? If you've been there, trust me, you are not alone. So let's get into it. Let's talk about this really weird, unspoken letdown of actually winning.
This right here, this is the core question, isn't it? We were all sold this idea, this promise, that if we just get the win, all the other messy parts of life will magically fall into place. But the reality? Man, it can feel so different. Almost like a quiet little betrayal.
Okay, so let's rewind for a second. How did we even get here? Well, it all starts with the blueprint. You know, that universal instruction manual for a good life that pretty much everyone gets handed. And the formula was so simple, so clean. It's the emotional math we all learned in school. Just follow the rules, rack up the points, and the grand prize at the end is a lifetime supply of happiness. It's like an IKEA instruction manual for your soul. Simple, right? What could possibly go wrong?
And this path was laid out for us like a video game with really clear levels. Ace the test. Ding, level up. Get the degree. Ding, land the job, climb that ladder. We just kept chasing the next achievement, totally assuming the final boss was some character named Total Fulfillment.
But then a funny thing happens. You actually get there. You arrive. And the confetti starts to fall, but it feels, I don't know, a little off. This is where the story we were told takes a really sharp turn. And what's so wild is the huge gap between these two columns. Look at this. The promise was happiness, deep connection, total freedom. But for so many of us, the reality feels a lot more like emptiness, a weird kind of loneliness, and this crushing pressure to just keep it all going. Yeah, these are the unspoken side effects, you know? The fine print on the success contract. Nobody ever warns you that the view from the top can be incredibly isolating, or that a big win can feel hollow if you had to sacrifice parts of yourself to get it. And the biggest fear? It suddenly stops being about failing and becomes about losing everything you've already won.
And all that pressure? It creates this very specific kind of trap. And it's a beautiful trap, all shiny and golden on the outside, which honestly makes it even harder to admit that you secretly want to escape.
See? You played the game perfectly. You built this incredible life, but it was based on somebody else's rules for what incredible means. Now you've got the title, the money, the respect from everyone, and the thought of just walking away, of admitting this isn't what you want, it's absolutely terrifying. You're basically trapped by your own trophies. And then, in those quiet moments, you know, late at night, or when you're just stuck in traffic, this one little question just bubbles up to the surface. It's a quiet, dangerous, and incredibly honest question. But here's where it gets good. Here's the hopeful part. What if the game itself isn't actually the problem? What if the problem is just our definition of what it means to win? It might be time to change the rules.
Okay, so this is so important. Ambition isn't bad. Achievement? It's great. Success was never the enemy here. The real lie was the fairy tale we were told, that a job title or a number in a bank account could somehow patch up all the messy human parts of you and magically make you feel whole.
So what if we just redefine the prize? What if real success isn't about climbing higher and higher, but about gaining real control? You know, control over your time, so you actually get to decide what you do with your day. Control over your mind, so you're not just constantly chasing the next thing. And ultimately, control over the direction of your own life. Now that feels like a prize worth winning, doesn't it? So in the end, maybe we can stop thinking that success is some destination that let us down. Maybe it's just a tool. A really powerful one for sure, but still just a tool. And maybe we were just never given the right instruction manual. The real project then isn't about getting more success, but about finally figuring out what it is we really want to build with it.